What's good, everyone? It's time for a DL short. Um, we just had this very horrific incident in Georgia just a couple of days ago with an active shooter. Four people were deleted, nine people were wounded. Well, today in Maryland, there was another shooting at a high school. So we had the high school shooting in Georgia just a couple of days ago, and today there was a shooting in high school, in Maryland. So let's take you to a quick press conference. This conference is about an hour old, and let's see what happened here.
Breaking news. And that breaking news, Joffatown High School evacuated after a fight involving weapons there. That Sheriff Gaylor at the microphone right now.
You're going to give us an update on what has been happening today. This all unfolded about 12:45 this afternoon. Students were evacuated. Let's listen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sadly, we stand here today to discuss another school shooting. I'm very thankful. This came out at 12:36 today. Our Department of Emergency Services Dispatch Center took calls for what was possibly an active shooter incident. Thankfully, that was not the case, but we did have a shooting that took place in the school. One suspect, one victim. At 12:36 again was the initial call. There was the SRO assigned to the school who was in the school who did not hear the shot. As the principal, I apologize, the principal of the school also was in the school at the time, did not hear the shot, but heard the commotion that resulted from it. Both the principal and our SRO responded to the scene. Nurses, the shooting took place in a first floor men's bathroom. The initial After the initial shooting, the suspect left the bathroom, left the school. Other individuals in the school brought the victim out into the hallway where he was immediately attended to by nurses as part of the public school system.
So right away, you can see that this doesn't appear to have been an active shooter situation. This doesn't appear to be just someone with a weapon that's just randomly engaging people into, trying to delete them, trying to hurt them. What this sounds like to me, and I'm no expert, just based on, my experience as a guy in his 50s, growing up the way we grew up, coming from where we came from, this sounds to me that someone had drama. There's something going on. Someone targeted someone else. Like, hey, I'm gonna go find someone so I know where they at. And that person, brought a weapon, or maybe someone knew that, hey, people are looking for me, so I better have my thing on me. And they found each other. First floor bathroom, like dude in there. They go in there. It didn't sound like it was the two groups clashing. It sounded like it was just one-on-one. Those details will emerge as the investigation continues. Looks like there was some sort of fight. Someone had a weapon, firearm. They pop off around, hit their target, and then realize what they have done, and they leave. Like, you got to understand that these kids, like, this sounds like street stuff to me. This sounds like street stuff. Maybe it'll turn out to be some sort of drill type beef. Who knows? With younger folks, this sounds like some urban stuff to me. When you get into stereotypes or whatever, when you hear about someone just going in with a big weapon and just hurting a bunch of innocent people, an image of a person appears, a race appears into your mind, right? And it is what it is. When the photo of the shooter in at the high school in Georgia, that Colt Gray, when his photo showed up, that's exactly, that's the race I had in my mind. Something like this, when we finally see the person involved with this, I got a race in my mind, right? I know, like, this sounds like some street stuff, right? This sounds like some street stuff. Like, this sounds like some beef that, some drama that happened outside, and found its way into the school. When people talk about on site, this is what they're talking about. But let's continue.
Within the first 2 minutes, we had our first response deputy on the scene. Within 15 minutes, more than 100 police officers were here from all of our local partner agencies, Bel Air, Aberdeen, Havre Grace, the Maryland State Police, as well as Transportation Authority. And I know I'm going to miss somebody. Baltimore County Police sent units up into the county. ATF is here. I've received calls from other jurisdictions offering their support. The medics from Department of Emergency Services were here in a matter of minutes as well. Immediately attended to the patient who was airlifted to a trauma center. Again, he is the victim in this shooting is a 15-year-old male who is in serious condition. Last we heard, the suspect in the case, thanks to our community members, the suspect in our case was apprehended within minutes. He's a 16-year-old student at the school. This was his first day, although we're 4 days into the school year. This was his first day in the school, and this altercation apparently took place in the bathroom that resulted in a single shot, what we believe to be a single shot being fired, which struck the victim. He went a short distance away to some houses. They also called the police, called dispatch. Information was given to responding deputies who were able to encounter him very quickly and make an arrest. With our criminal-friendly legislature here in Maryland, this is a 16-year-old suspect that we are now not allowed to talk to. So as far as trying to give some information, our detectives to get information about the questions I have, that all of our partners behind me have, as to why we're not allowed to ask the suspect in this case. We do have, we've talked to the state's attorney. We do have sufficient information that he will be charged in association with this shooting without the need to be interviewed. Overwhelming evidence, if you will. But again, that investigation is ongoing. I'm very thankful again for the quick response of our deputies, of all of our officers and the troopers in the county, all of our allied partners, all the officer assistants, the Department of Emergency Services, the great work at Dispatch Center. I know Rick Ayers is with us.
Right. And he goes into, thanking all the different agencies and entities that help with this this crime, to help, respond to this incident at a high school. So the sheriff is saying, like, yeah, we have a history with this guy. Whoever this guy is like, yo, dude's no stranger to us. We know this dude. This dude is probably known. Like I say, man, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If people get mad when you do the stereotyping, but I'm imagining a black or brown kid. I'm thinking it's a black kid. I'm thinking it's something that happened in the streets and it spilled over into the schools. This was this guy's first day at school. Like, he hasn't been there. The school's been going for a week, but this is the kid's first day in school. That says a lot. Like, people get around like, yeah, we know where dude at. He go to this school, and hey, man, ain't you registered at that school? Like, man, you need to take this thing, go handle that. That's what I'm thinking happened. I could be wrong. I'm just speculating. I have no idea. I don't have any information. What I didn't know, and what sounds crazy to me, is that they have laws on the books in Maryland that prohibit law enforcement from interviewing minors, even when they commit serious crimes. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, you look at what's going on in Georgia and how, Georgia has gone after the parent, the father of this Colt Gray stuff, because the father allegedly purchased this AR style weapon for his son, didn't secure it properly. It's a bunch of other stuff. We talked about that. So Georgia's like really active. And I didn't know that there were laws on the books that prohibit law enforcement from talking to minors. You get Mirandized as a minor the same way you get Mirandized as an adult. So it's up to you to talk or not. Like, you just keep your mouth shut. But the fact that they can't even talk to him, there has to be something behind that. It is what it is. A lot of times police officers, police in general, law enforcement get these tools and they abuse these tools, and then the people take those tools away. I don't know if that's the case here. I've never lived in Maryland. I got people there, but I've never really spent a lot of time in Maryland or the DC area. I think that's crazy. It really hurts investigations, but I'm pretty sure they have all kind of, like the sheriff said, they have overwhelming evidence. Pretty sure there's video, there's eyewitness accounts, there's people who are like, yeah, that's him. You got the people in the neighborhood who's like, yeah, that's the guy that was knocking on the door. The sheriff went on to asked some questions, and they also have like the superintendent of schools. That's the guy in the bow tie in the background. He was talking about, how the school handled it and what the plans were for the school system moving forward. Today is Friday. The school itself, I'm pretty sure, is an active crime scene, at least that bathroom where this occurred. So, they had to talk about that a little bit. And then the sheriff took some questions, a lot of questions, of course, he couldn't answer. Someone asked him, what type of weapon was it? Do you know? And the sheriff's like, yeah, we know what caliber. Like, they know, but they're not giving the information out. They haven't recovered a weapon yet, but they're still looking. And there was some other questions asked along those lines. But again, most of the reporters knew, like, hey, it's not a lot that these guys know. This investigation is ongoing, but they do have the suspect in custody. They know who he is. They can't talk to him, but he's going to be charged, it sounds like, as an adult by the DA. One round was fired. There was one shot fired. Apparently there was some sort of fight in a bathroom. And of course, they evacuated the school, as you should in these cases. They didn't know what was going on. And then they went into the pickup point. Like, they had a church that was just down the road from the school, and they had all the kids go there. And the parents came to the church to pick the kids up. And they were pretty pleased with how that worked. But the sheriff was saying that some 100 law enforcement officials responded to this school within minutes. Again, law enforcement, the cops, they didn't know what was going on. But they got the information and they came right away, which they were pretty proud about that. Even though they knew it wasn't an active shooter event, they wanted to make sure. So, it just goes to show that law enforcement is, really on this. Again, it's going to be, this is more fuel for the gun talk or whatever. Now, when you look at what happened in Georgia, that was pretty cut and dry. You have an adult who bought a firearm and gave that firearm to a child, or that child had access to that firearm. And then, a year prior to that, law enforcement was looking at this child as, 13 at the time, making threats, threatening to hurt people, threatening to shoot people. And then, a year later it happens. That situation is pretty cut and dry. This situation, like, I'm pretty sure this kid has parents, so a mom or dad or both or whatever, they're going to look into it and they're going to try to figure out where this kid got this weapon from. So if the investigation shows that the parents had nothing to do with getting the weapon, they had nothing to do with the street stuff, then I don't believe that they should go after the parents and have the parents do any type of jail time. Now, on the other hand, they do the investigation and find out, like, yeah, this weapon came from the home. The weapon wasn't secured properly. They already mentioned that this kid has a history with law enforcement. So it's probably this kid has some sort of criminal record. And, maybe if that's the case, then maybe you start looking at, okay, there's some negligence going on here. You didn't properly secure the weapon, whatever. There might be a situation where the kid had the weapon and the parents didn't know. The parents didn't know. We all know people out here working real hard. You just don't know. Kids can bring stuff into the house and hide it. You just don't know. So, I think whatever laws are enacted on the back end of these shootings, I hope they make sense. I hope that these laws aren't used to just go after people that you don't like, or go after people you got a bone to pick with, or they're going to go after people that they know have done other things and they're going to use this law to get them. But that happens all the time. I hope it doesn't happen this time. But I just wanted to throw it out there real quick, guys. You're probably seeing this stuff in the news. Yeah, there was another school shooting, this time in Maryland. It wasn't an active shooter event. It was appears to have been just a fight, and a weapon was used. A handgun was used in the fight. One round was fired. There was one victim, and then the suspect has been apprehended. Let's just listen to the very end of the press conference.
Thank you very much.
Jeffrey Gaylor there in Hartford County. Let's take a live look, I believe, or a tape look right now at Joppatown High School. What we know is that this is an incident that started at about 12:36. That's when the calls came in. We know of one suspect, one victim. The alleged suspect is believed to be 16 years old, male. It was actually his first day of school there. The victim, 15 years old and in serious condition, flown to a trauma center.
They tell us this was a fight in the first floor boys' bathroom between the victim and the suspect. One shot was fired. The suspect, again, shot the 15-year-old one time, and that child was airlifted and is in serious condition at this point.
Yeah, what we know of the suspect, at least from what the sheriff is saying, is that he took off allegedly from the school and ended up in a neighborhood knocking on doors. And eventually it was calls from those neighbors that helped to alert deputies on where to find this suspect. We do video that we won't show you yet because this legal process has to go a bit. But we saw that as that went on today. We also saw what you're seeing here, numbers of students being led out of the school, being led to a nearby church where their unification center was. That line was long. Parents
Yes.
immediately making their way out to the
Right.
Presbyterian church nearby to find their kids.
And Sheriff Gaylor says within 15 minutes, there were over 100 police officers on the scene of this incident from various jurisdictions around the Joppatown area. And he was really praising the response from law enforcement so quickly. But the concern, of course, at first was that it could be an active shooter. This is on the heels of the situation in
Right.
Georgia, that Georgia high school where people were killed. Fortunately, this is not the case at this school. This was just an argument between two people.
Sure. And some mild connections being made, but just haven't been investigated yet. But the sheriff did bring it up, so I'll bring it up to you. One, that there was an incident yesterday involving Joppatown High School students. He's not sure if this is something that boiled over from that. He also mentioned the suspect saying, listen, he is not unknown to us. We're not saying he has a criminal past, but we have responded to calls where this suspect is involved. So that'll be part of the investigation as well. Then the question becomes Monday, what do? How does this simmer through Saturday and Sunday? Superintendent Bolson saying two things are going to happen. One is counseling, and he'll have that available for both students and teachers as well. And then they'll have to make the decision about school. And he says right now it's unclear if they'll have classes as usual, at least come Monday.
And at this point, they're still searching for the firearm. They have not recovered it at this point. Of course, that's key to this investigation.
So we'll continue to
So they're gonna follow that up. This is the new reality. This is how we live. But when I was coming up, back in the 80s when I was in high school, and we had drama, we had fights in school, some big fights, but no one ever thought about bringing weapons to a school. That was just crashing out. That was just dumb. It didn't make any sense. It would escalate things to a level that didn't make any sense at all. So why do it? If you're gonna, do something like that, you just wait till y'all outside. Or you just wait till you catch them back on the block somewhere. But now these kids just they don't think stuff through. They just get into a situation. They bring whatever they bring with them. They're not thinking it through. It doesn't make any sense. This kid, they're gonna try him as an adult, and he's gonna, sit and have to sit down. I mean, sit in prison for about 20 years. Rightly so. Rightly so. You can't just be out here on the streets acting like that. I mean, this is crazy. And that little bit right there when they said that, well, there were kids from this school involved in some sort of drama, some sort of altercation off campus, and maybe like the day before, like yesterday, and maybe that has something to do with it. It probably did. It probably did. And again, most people in a situation like that, you got drama, like you wait to see them. A lot of times these things will happen at an event like a football game or a basketball game or something like that. But again, kids today are different. The way these people are thinking is just different. People talk about, there's so many guns out there. There have always been a lot of guns in America. That's always been the case. It's just now people are crashing out. People are crashing out almost daily. So there you have it, guys. It's been another shooting at another high school, this time in Maryland. One person was shot. The suspect was taken into custody. He was caught. They don't have a weapon, not yet. But obviously they have a bullet, and they can tell what caliber of weapon was found. Lots of witnesses. A lot of people are talking, except for the suspect. Apparently in Maryland, law enforcement can't talk to minors. I wonder what that law is all about. That sounds crazy. So that's it. If anything changes or if any more information comes out, I'll definitely throw it out there for you guys. I know you guys are working hard, don't have time to keep up with this stuff. But I'll throw it out there if I hear anything. You guys have a safe weekend, man. Like I said, man, like if you have children, hug your children, give them a kiss on the forehead, tell them you love them. Call up your family and your close friends and tell them how you feel. Tell them you love them. It's crazy out here, guys. We're definitely going to have to do something. I don't have any answers right now, only questions, but you know what? We can think our way through this and try to figure something out. I'm DL Saint. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.